Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. I am your host, Sharifah Hardie, and we have an incredible show for you today. We have some interesting guests, so I'm sure you are going to enjoy it, but I'm sure there's someone in your network, someone in your neighborhood, there's someone who needs this information. Maybe they're a new entrepreneur. They're just starting out with their business. And this is the place for them to learn from the experts. So you want to go and wake them up, send that text, send that tweet, make that post, send that email, but let them know the Roundtable Talk Show is live. Because as I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show. So while you're introducing your friends to the show, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the lovely Miss Noa Ronen, our first guest. Noa is a speaker, certified executive coach, author, disruptor, and coffee lover, and she brings more than 20 years of experience in change management, human resources, project management, and coaching. Good morning, Noa. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here, Sharifah.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great show. And ladies first. So I'm going to ask you, what do you do? Who are you? And what are you passionate about?
And first, I have to start with my passion. I feel so ashamed that the only thing I have this morning is water, and I don't have a cup of coffee next to me. But I already drank my coffee, so don't worry, everyone. My name is Noa. I'm originally from Israel. So if you ask yourself, where is the accent from? I'm originally from Israel, but I am in the US for 16 years, and my focus is on executive coaching and leadership coaching and change. I helped a lot of organizations go through change, and then I went through my own personal change, moving from Israel to the US for 2 years, and 16 years after, still here, now in North Carolina, started in New York. And that change really impacted my life, how I see people, cultures, human beings, and our relationship with change in general.
That's beautiful. So let me ask you, Noa, have you been on talk shows, panels, or just around gangsters?
Not yet, but there is always the first time.
And usually the first time winds up being the Roundtable Talk Show. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Mr. Noble. He is the EQ Gangster. He's a former emotionally clueless West Point Army Ranger turned certified emotional intelligence practitioner, podcast host, and corporate EQ leadership coach. Good morning, EQ Gangster. How are you?
Sharifah, what's up, girl?
I love your energy. This is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. I'm just getting warmed up, Sharifah. I'm just getting warmed up. So it's so great to meet you all, everyone, all the other fellow guests on here. Great to meet you all as well. And any of you maybe watching live, man, it's great to meet you. Super excited to hopefully add value to for all of us to get value out of this. Thank you again, Sharifah. So my background, I went to West Point. Was in the 82nd Airborne Division, and also kind of how my emotional cluelessness started. My family of origin, that's where we all get our emotional foundations, whether it's good or bad or positive or pleasant or unpleasant. And I grew up in a family where we never had any conflict resolution. So we would yell and scream at each other. Whoever yelled to let us won, and we'd stomp off. An hour later, come back and act like nothing happened. So I learned how to stuff and avoid very early. Carried that through my whole professional career in the military, and then as an entrepreneur for 20 some years. Yelled at my wife 3 times in 3 weeks, and she said 3 things. Number 1, don't ever do that again. Number 2, you've never done it before. Number 3, you've got more issues than Time magazine. Went to counseling. My counselor told me, Noble, let me introduce you to 2 revolutionary new concepts called feelings and emotions. And I was like, what in the world are you talking about? After two years of intentional growth in my emotions, every single area of my life started to change. My faith, my marriage, my parenting, my finances, my fitness, every single area started to change. So I'm like, man, I can't be the only emotionally clueless guy out there. There's got to be other nobles out there as well. Let me start a podcast called EQ Gangster. So that's how it all started.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And stereotyping, right? Just to look at you, and then you seem like this big, huge, gruff guy. And you're probably like, oh, you need a hug. I'm like, wait a minute. How does this work? I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm going to come back to you, Noble. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, the money hero, Florian Fritz. He is a money teacher, founder of the Money Hero Academy, helping small business owners improve their finances. Good morning, Florian. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifah. I'm
What is that? Is that a paddle?
Yes.
I love it. This is an interesting show. I have never had that before either.
Well, there's always some time for new things, right?
Yes. Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Who am I? I'm Florian, money teacher, as you said, and I'm in Austria. So good morning, but it's not morning for me. It's actually 5 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And it's dark
So
outside.
you've had your coffee.
And I think that's why my backgrounds are flimmering, because they think it's too dark already to work. So I started 18 years ago as a financial advisor. And while I was doing that, I found that I didn't really like how financial industry is treating their clients, meaning the banks and insurance companies making all the money and the clients taking all the risk and paying for it. So I wanted to do something different, started educating myself, traveled the world to learn from some of the greatest teachers there are. And yeah, today I'm teaching money and helping especially small business owners to move from financial stress and worries around money to becoming money heroes who can create wealth and financial freedom.
Wow, I love it. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna go harass Noah. I think I'm in a harassment mode right this morning. Noah, like I haven't had that much energy ever from someone like Noble. I haven't had a paddle like Florian. I need something for the first time, Noah. I need you to give me something for the first time. The guys are showing you up.
Maybe my sign. Where is it? Procrastinating. I don't know if you can see it. Procrastinating. Have you heard that before?
No, I have not. Explain, please.
It's procrastination because you haven't got coffee yet. So that is the sign that I'm having there behind my plants. Yeah, that's my energy right now. Maybe it will change in a moment.
No, it's great. I like that. No, we heard from Noble. We heard from Florian. What were your thoughts? What did you think about what they had to say?
What do I have to say? That actually I love that there is already a connection between the three of us, and we'll see how it's connected with you, Sharifah, but the heart from Florian and Noble with the emotions, because everything I talk about is the being and doing. And for me, the doing and being are two energies that we have. The doing are the actions, and being are the emotions and thoughts and mindset. And some people say that they don't come from emotions, but emotions are with us all the time. They are part of us. They are, and a lot of the work I do with people relates to just how we started this conversation. That we have to pay attention to our actions and to our emotions, because the being energy can get in our way to get the actions we want to get.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that Noble said and Noah alluded to is I've been divorced twice. And one of the things that I've learned is that people communicate in different ways. My mother's side of the family is from Columbus, Ohio. They do not communicate. They're upset. They're the silent treatment kind of people. Okay. My dad's side of the family is from Brooklyn. And if you walk down the street, I don't know if any of you have ever walked down a street in Brooklyn, you'll hear screaming at the top of your lungs, and other people will be like, okay, what is going on? And then they'll be like, no, that's Sunday dinner. Don't worry about it. Like, it's just the way they communicate. And it's not always easy to be in a marriage or to be in a relationship with people who have different types of ways of communication. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Noble.
Sure, Sharifah, that's a great point. So one of the things, there's four kind of standard perspectives on emotional intelligence, and that's self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, social management. So self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, social management. That first piece of that puzzle is where emotional intelligence, in my opinion, all begins, in that self-awareness. How do you communicate, first of all? What is your style? What's your personality mix? What are your strengths? What are your love languages? How are you wired? And the more of that understanding can bleed into that social awareness. Well, how does Sharifah communicate? How does Noah communicate? Right? How does Florian communicate? How can I potentially adjust and adapt my communication to have a better, more effective communication and connection with the other folks on this discussion, for example? So I think it's really important that it starts with that self-awareness first, and then that can lead into and bleed into that social awareness.
Now, just listening to you sounds like music to my ears. It sounds like I'm in college, you're the professor, and I'm learning. But when you're talking to the rest of the other gangsters, do they get it? Or are they like, okay, no, but you are tripping. We're not doing feelings. You know, we don't even have feelings, no, but what are you talking about?
So that's an excellent question, Sharifah. Here's what's a trip. So I've got access to a scientific psychometric EQ assessment that gives, EQ stands for emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. It gives somebody, it spits out kind of their emotional intelligence before photo, before they begin working on their, growing their emotional intelligence. What I have found is somebody's position does not equal or guarantee or accurately reflect their emotional intelligence. For example, I've got a lot of corporate clients that are senior executives, C-level executives, big baller executives, that some of them have very, very low aspects of their emotional intelligence. So there are a lot of people, and here's another question I love asking people is, how many of us have ever been trained on how to identify, manage, process our emotions? La-di-da-di, just about nobody, right? So this is an important skill that we can all learn.
I thought you was about to start rapping there for a minute. We're gonna ask Florian that question. Have you been trained
in emotions? No, and I used to be super bad at handling my emotions. I almost like Noble that I said, what feelings, emotions? I don't have that. So I had lots of personal development before I started recognizing and dealing with those things.
What happened? How did you begin to start dealing with your emotions and feelings?
Well, I started actually to get training for financial stuff, from business and money stuff. But I had great trainers who taught me that it's never enough to have only business development and learn about the technical things. You also have to work on yourself and work on your personal development. And only if you do both, your business will grow, your results will grow in all areas of your life. So that's how I got into personal development, and working with some amazing trainers on that, and being forced in practices and seminars to let out my emotions and to play with them. That's how I got into that, and that's helping a lot in being happier and in life, and not just in the money part, but with relationships, with everything else. The other important parts in your life, except for money, apart from money.
You're glowing now. I love that. Like, you look like an angel. Like, this is the show from all shows. This is like, we got an angel, a gangster, and a sweet, nice little caffeinated lady on the show. Yes. How many of those do you have? I need those. Send me those. Okay. I'm going to go over back to Noble, because I just had to share this thought, and then I'm going to move on to another point. But I'm sitting here talking to you, Noble, and I'm trying to remember what TV show you remind me of. And I was like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I couldn't think of it. And then all of a sudden it hit me. And I'm pretty sure you've seen this movie, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be surprised by the movie. You probably think it's some gangster movie. Have you, one of my all-time favorite movies, Adam Sandler's Anger Management.
Yes, I am familiar with that movie.
Yes.
It's been a hot minute though since I've seen it.
You have to watch it. If anyone has not seen this movie, you have to watch it. And the crux of the movie is based on his anger. Adam Sandler has to go through this anger management class, but they start singing this song, "Oh So Pretty," during the course. That's like so these big men, all these tough guys are singing "Oh So Pretty," and it's just hilarious. I love it. And I was like, what does Noble remind me of? And I was like, yes, that's the movie. Noah, have you ever seen that movie?
I haven't, but I do have a thought, very short one about Florian, is that money is very emotional. And I think that and feel that a lot of times we separate in our head and say, I don't feel anything, but we're feeling all the time. And money, very emotional. And that's why it's so hard to be a business owner, I believe.
Why do you feel it's hard to be a business owner? Because money is emotional.
It is related because we measure success a lot of times through money, and that where that self-awareness piece that Noble talked about showed up. We need to deal with so many challenges to get to where we want to get, to accomplish and overcome obstacles and challenges. And every time you think you overcome the challenge, there is another one showing up in your face. So there is a lot of self-awareness that you have to go through as a business owner that I don't think always show up the same way when you have your consistent income inside the corporate. So that's where I find that money can be very emotional and bring people to up and downs when I work with business owners. That is different than the emotional stuff you experience with people work inside organizations. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I understand exactly what you're saying. I'll have like the best show, the best day of my life. And I'm like, yes, I've made it. And then I check my bank account, and my bank account is like, no, you got a long way to go. Okay. So definitely understand. Flora, I love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, money is super emotional, especially we have like greed and fear. Greed stopping or making us do crazy stuff, trying to get rich quick in a minute or a day, and fear stopping us from doing perfectly good, following up on perfectly good ideas. And well, when we are very emotional, when emotions go up, intelligence usually goes down. Have you ever done any intelligent decisions when you were very emotional? Probably
No.
not, right? So that's what happens to all of us. And same as with emotions, we don't learn about money in school. So we don't really have a manual how to do smart decisions. Then we get emotional. So that's why so many people mess up financially.
Yes, but you know, one of the things about money, Florian, and you're talking about the intelligent choices, intelligent decisions. I know, if no one else has, that I've done shopping or gone out and spent money that I probably should not have spent based on my emotions. Maybe I was sad, or, like I missed somebody or something happened. I'm like, let me go buy that Gucci purse. And then 2 days later, I'm like, you did not need that purse, but it was your emotions. Have you seen that, Florian?
Well, absolutely. You're not alone with that. Like retail therapy is pretty widespread thing, that people don't feel good and then treat themselves to buy something. So money running through the fingers, and in the end, it's gone. So you have to save yourself from that by having a money management system that protects you, where you have money that you can spend on retail therapy, on play without any guilt. And the rest of the money you have safe for the rest, what you actually need it for.
Yeah, I don't know if that will work for me though, because I need a money manager, like a person who's like, you can just handles all of that for me. Just like I need someone when I'm working on weight loss to just slap hamburgers and cheeseburgers and pizza out of my hand. Like I have absolutely no self-control, but I'm a work in progress. God's not done with me yet. No, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So two things. So one on the money, and then one on the food. So I saw when I was 8 years old, And my dad is a big giant teddy bear. He died 10, 11 years ago, but he was a big teddy bear emergency room doctor. And I was upstairs playing in my room, and then I hear this big giant pandemonium going on downstairs. I run downstairs, and my dad's in the middle of the kitchen yelling, screaming, throwing pots and pans against the wall, throwing chairs against the windows and stuff. My mom is 4'10", little Hispanic lady hiding behind the kitchen island, peeking around the corner, looking up at my dad, like freaking out because he's freaking out. And I'm like, man, what is going on? So of course I'm freaking out now. So I'm crying and stuff. And once the dust settled a little bit, I figured out what they were fighting about. They were fighting about money. In my 8-year-old brain, what I did was I made a vow at 8 years old that if this thing called money, which I don't know what that is at 8 years old, no idea what that concept is, if that thing called money can turn my angel of a dad into Satan, I want nothing to do with money. And so from 8 years old on, I avoided money like the plague. Now, imagine the challenge with that decision making. Now, this was subconscious. I didn't even know I'd made that decision. Imagine how that played out in my life as an entrepreneur that hates money, right? Imagine how that worked out. And then eating, right? So what happened to me was I've always struggled with my weight. I popped out of the womb chubbalicious, okay? and so what happened was 5, 6, 7 years ago, asking God, praying like, okay, man, what's my deal with food? And then God connected it for me, just working through some reflection, some emotional work, the realization that my dad, the way he dealt with stress, his whole life working in the ER was eating. And so guess what I did and how I adopted it? I adopted eating as a coping mechanism. And as I started to get healthy emotionally, I've lost 50 pounds, not because of some great diet, but because I've gotten healthier emotionally.
Wow. Now that was interesting. A lot of self-analysis went into that, but you gave us the beginning of the story. I want to get to the point with this money decision where you hated money. How did you change? How did you, go from hating money to being someone who welcomed it?
So the one of the things that I like to tell people when I'm working with them, helping them with their EQ and growing their emotional intelligence is finding, just like we find the origin story of a superhero, what is the origin story of that emotion? What is the origin story of that unhealthy decision-making in regards to money? So once I was able to make that connection, because I had no idea why I was self-sabotaging in the area of finances and money and anything dealing with money, once I made that connection to, when I was 8 years old, it was that decision that I made, that subconscious vow and promise and commitment that I'd made to avoid money. Once I realized that, then I could start working on the emotions. What were the emotions around money? Make that list. Then what are the scripts and stories and narrative that go along that are surrounding money for me? And then how can what are some new scripts that I can create that are healthy and productive around money?
That definitely makes sense. Now, I want to go back over to Florian for a minute. One of the things that I have, Noah left us. One of the things that I've seen, I work with a lot of people who are in the holistic business. They're holistic in some form or fashion. I work with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce here in Long Beach, and I have found that some of the holistic people are the worst with money. And the reason I say that is because many of them have left corporate America. They've ran from it. They running and screaming from corporate America because they didn't want to have that corporate greed. And so they say, you know what, let me help people. Let me serve mankind. But in the process, they're unable to pay the mortgage, unable to pay the rent because they've just like, no, money is evil. I don't even want to touch it. Maybe they have services that they provide and they'll say, you know what, my price is $100, but Noah, I'll just do it for you for free. Has that been then that leaves them with what? No money. Have you seen that with entrepreneurs as well, Florian?
Yeah, totally. There's lots of entrepreneurs, especially in the coaches and holistic area, as you said, that if they have the conditioning that money is evil, then your subconscious will always protect you from becoming rich because you don't want to be an evil person, right? Now I have another sign for you here that I just found while Noble was talking. Like your results are determined by your behavior, and your behavior is determined by your mindset, how you think, and that's determined by our conditioning. So if you have an experience like Noble had, that his dad was or his parents were fighting around money, you don't remember that, but still it's somewhere in your subconscious, and every time money comes up, you're going to avoid it. Now, if you have the belief that you have to work hard for money, which is something that we all learn, what are you probably going to do? You're going to work hard for money. But in your experience, are all those hardworking people rich? No, most of them are actually broke. So you have to start down here, getting rid of this belief that money is evil and that you have to work hard for money. And only then you change the results up here.
I'm just waiting for your next sign. I'm enjoying these signs.
I've got lots of them. Depending on what fits our discussion, I'll find the right one.
Okay, we're going to play a game. Noah, we need to give Florian a word. What's our word for Noah? Or for Florian?
Stripes, because I have stripe on my face from the sun. Stripes.
Do we have a stripe sign, Florian?
No, that's a hard one. Let me see.
Well, we got a thumbs up. Noah, I love to hear your thoughts on finances and entrepreneurs and this idea that they have to struggle and not necessarily be rich or be successful. What are your thoughts?
Can I expand that for a moment and say that it's really, I see it as an energy. The same way that I talk about the doing and being energies, I see the same thing about an energy that we are blocking in a way or welcoming, as you mentioned earlier. And sometimes I will invite people to welcome something into their life and they will resist it. They will hold on the resistance so strongly. And it can be people who are givers and always give to others. And then they sit with me and say, why I never get support? Why no one is helping me? And when we go through their beliefs and I say, okay, so welcome that into your life. And they start talking about other things and they will go around and I will tell them, that's beautiful what you're doing right now, how you are trying not to welcome what you really want into your life. So when we understand that we have those beliefs, we can start working on themselves. And it's very, very hard, as you can see from all the conversations that we are having, to identify that on your own. And through the conversations, we can start seeing what are those unconscious, sometimes they call them formulas. What are those formulas that we are created for ourselves? And then we block ourselves from seeing something different in our lives. And that's the work that sometimes other people can help us start welcoming, eating differently, or changing the focus of how we eat, or change the focus of what money means to us, or change the focus that asking for support and asking others, inviting others, or welcome others giving to us, that's okay too. So the welcoming piece for me is that piece that I find important.
That's an interesting topic, and I'm going to go in a different direction because I have so many questions. But before we go there, I do want to stop for a brief commercial break, and we will be right back.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
A good business consultant.
And I kept searching.
and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you are looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
Thank you.
If you are just now tuning in to the Roundtable Talk Show, we have been having a very interesting conversation this Monday morning. So you definitely want to pick up the show from the beginning in the archives if you missed any point of the show. Now, Noah, right before the break, you were speaking and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I have some questions for Noah. because you were talking about welcoming, right? And I tell people, I created my own little expression, just like all of you. I tell people that I am a recovering perfectionist, right? Like that I'm in recovery right now. I'm trying to be a better person, but it's very hard for me because even like with my kids are 24 and 27 now. But when they were growing up and I would have them clean and they say, Mom, I'm finished cleaning. And I would always ask the question, okay, are you finished cleaning to your standards or are you finished cleaning to my standards? And even with employees or people I work with, it's hard to find people who have the same standards or just, people in general. And so what I wind up doing is saying, forget it. I'll do it myself. Let me just do it. I'll do it myself. And then I'm sitting there like, Noah, no one will help me.
So here is something that I tell people that are more in the perfectionism spectrum. With what you have right now, what is the next step you can take? And I hope it helps you, Sharifah, because there is, like everything else we discuss right now, it's a long journey. I don't believe in magic pills. I don't believe that I have the right answer right here, right now for the people who listen. We need to go through the journey in the right way with the right method that works for us to find our systems. But what I do know about people that come from perfectionism, it's never enough.
Yes, amen.
It's never enough. And that's where I invite you to have next to you a person that says, with this of what you have collected, of what you have done, what is the next step? Because what can happen with perfectionism is that until you move, other people that are action-oriented will win the game. So you will be the subject expert matter, especially in corporate, but you will not be the one to be promoted, or you will not be the one to get the big project. So from what I see, you become the subject matter expert, but you're not moving to where you want to achieve as a perfectionist. So
hold on, not to cut you off, but I want to go back because I lost that train of thought because I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So what I'm hearing you say is that if you have this perfectionist mindset, you're not going to get the project because you're a perfectionist and it's never going to be good enough. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's never going to be good enough. So you need to have more information. You need to have more data. You need to dig in. You need to be an expert. There must be the perfect data. And what happens while you're working on making it perfect, another person already took the project and took off and showed the results.
Oh, that makes sense. That made a lot of sense. Noble, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the conversation.
So for me, right, just in the EQ space, I would want to know, Sharifah, what are your emotions around perfectionism and doing? What's your mindset? What's your thought process? And what are the corresponding emotions? Because what happens is you can look at the behavior, but if you look just like Florian's little chart there, if you just look at the behavior and try to change that, any change that you attempt to make in your behavior will be temporary at best. What I want to know is, what are the emotions? What's underneath the perfectionism that has served you before? Maybe there's a reason.
Trying to make me cry. No, this feels like therapy. This feels like I'm trying to get it out. No, but you know what? That is so accurate because it's true. And you touched on it and you honed into what the emotion was. And I tell this story and it's kind of funny to me, but my mom's name is Patricia. And my mom has 8 brothers and sisters. And so her nickname as a child was Perfect Patty. So everything had to be perfect for Patty, but I'm like, okay, now if Perfect Patty was perfect, just imagine being Perfect Patty's daughter. Everything has to be perfect. And I'm not the kind of person that, really wanted it perfect, but Perfect Patty had to have it perfect. Even now, when people come to my house, they're like, Sharifah, there's nothing in your house. Are you living this minimalistic lifestyle? And I'm like, well, not really. I just don't like stuff. Because growing up, my mom had a lot of things and knickknacks that I had to dust, and they had to be perfect. So was that a good self-analysis, Noble?
Absolutely. That's excellent. Just knowing again that you connected the origin story of where your perfectionism came from. And that may have served you at a certain point in your life. So to give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of patience with yourself to realize that was maybe a survival mechanism at one point in your life. But if it's not serving you today, again, identifying those emotions, but then also what are the scripts and the narrative that you tell yourself while you're, going through this perfectionist kind of state. And then what are some new scripts and new behaviors that you can begin to develop?
Okay, so how do you see the balance? Because I think so often when we try to correct something, we may tend to overcorrect, meaning that a person may not want to be a perfectionist, so they wind up being a slob,
Right, sure. So for me, my answer to that is becoming the most emotionally healthy version of yourself. Every one of my strengths, if you ever read a book called Strengths Finder 2.0, it spits out your top, from Gallup poll, your top 5 strengths, so you can get the whole list of all your strengths in order of their how they show up in your life. And every one of those strengths in our life, if we're emotional, like me, I was emotionally needy, I was emotionally codependent, I was a recovering people pleaser addict, I had toxic positivity. Every one of my strengths was a weakness because I was very emotionally unhealthy. The healthier we get emotionally, now we're not operating out of a place of being emotionally needy. Now we can operate from a place of emotional strength. And now it brings those strengths back into alignment where they're operating at their max and optimal level.
Florian, do you have a sign for that?
An emotional sign? Sort of. I have this one. Can you read that?
Games reflect behavior.
I do. I play with my clients, with people in my Facebook group. We play the cash flow game online regularly to show people that their financial and emotional behavior around money, of course, is in real life is the same as in the game. So they can actually practice in a game how they look at themselves and find the mistakes that they're making in real life. And that works on the emotional level as much as on the financial.
What is this cash flow game that you speak of?
The cash flow game is a game that was created by Robert Kiyosaki to teach people around money, how to use a financial statement, how rich people get richer, and how you can copy that behavior.
Okay, so basically what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, Florian, is we have to go to your Facebook group to play the game.
That's a very good option to play it, yes. Because you can't, there is an online version. You can just go to Kiyosaki's website and play it online, but it's not as much fun playing the online game as we do on Zoom with actually the board and real interactions with the people. So we're having lots of fun. And we had a game going on with people from 4 different continents playing at the same time. So it's very international. And so you get even more different experiences, different views from different cultures and people. That's awesome.
Noah, have you ever played the cash flow game?
I haven't, but I do like the idea of play. And I do believe that sometimes we take the life and personal development and self-awareness sometimes too seriously and make it more of a play of a game and change the focus from it has to be this way, or I need it to be this way, or it should be this way, to something that is more playful and spacious. And you can see that with Noble Energy when he talks about emotion. It doesn't have to be so heavy. So I find that bringing playfulness into those experimentations to finding that middle place that fits us makes it easier in the process of finding our way to do things.
Yes, and with you're looking for the easier way. Do you incorporate play into your sessions with your clients?
Actually, I do. I used to have my background was all Post-its, so I love bringing Post-its into conversations. I also use cards with pictures because sometimes we get stuck with words, and then I invite people to go into intuition and choose cards with no words on them and just pictures. And from the pictures, we just have conversations. And then I share with them that on the other side, when they flip, there is a word. And it always show up the strengths of those people. Always, no matter if they're engineers, financial advisors, executives, team leaders, whatever it is, human beings, creative people, it always shows that your intuition knows to choose the pictures that are part of who you are. So it's really beautiful. I love playing with my clients.
So
I find that, yeah.
We didn't have any cards today. I want to see a card. You didn't bring us
When
any
you see
cards.
the cards, hold on. You keep talking, and I will
I'm
bring
gonna
it.
keep talking. Well, Noah grabs her cards. Have you played with those cards, Florian, or anything like that?
No, I'm super interested in seeing Noah's cards. Yeah, why should only I have signs? We want to see her cards.
Well, ask Noah for something new that we hadn't seen, and this is new.
So
Great.
this is actually really cute and really easy. This is a company from the UK at my best, and that's strength. So Nobel, your clients will love that because it's all about strengths. And then on one side, there are pictures, and I do that also with teams. So there are lots of cool pictures, and people just choose. And then when they flip it to the other side, mostly they don't know there is a word there. I just worked with a team, and they chose their strengths just intuitively after talking about their strengths, and they didn't believe they flipped all the cards. They wanted to make sure they really chose the right words from the pictures. And this is actually an Israeli company. Maybe you heard about them, Point of View, and they have this really cute one. Same idea with questions and pictures, and there is another one. Very sweet. I really like that. I just got myself that as a present for Thanksgiving. I hope Florian approved this this purchase. So it's really awesome. Again, the same idea. Just I wanted to expand on more pictures. Some of them have questions. Some of them have words. It just expands the process. And I find that when I work with teams, for example, just shifting from the word conversation and looking at pictures, make it a different experience for people. They can go in a much easier way into emotions.
We're going to see if Florian approves in a moment your purchase, but I would love to pick a picture. I want to play the game. You're not letting me play with the other.
Oh, you really want to play? Okay, yes. So let's see. I'm gonna, and it's just gonna tell me when to stop. So tell me which picture you want. The camera is the other way. I'm trying my best.
You are perfect. Keep going.
Tell me when to
stop. Your card. I'm fire. See, that's my fire. Oh, I'm the fire. Yes.
Ooh. So when you see this picture, what resonates for you with this picture?
I'm an Aries, and everything red, everything fire. That's me. When you think about me, you think about fire.
Yeah. And how does it show up in your life beyond that, with people, in your work?
I move fast. Everything moves fast, and it goes up and down. That's what I tell people, that with fire never stays at the same level. It burns up, it burns high excitement. Because I'm an extroverted introvert. So I go really high, and then I need a nap.
So, guys, when you hear, what's the word that comes into mind beyond fire? Nobel.
So for me, it's depth, variety, and excitement. But I would have picked fire too. So I'm right there with Sharifah. I think me and Sharifah were separated at birth.
We are. We got to get back together. We got to stay in touch. What's our word, Noble?
Passionate.
Yes.
and we can sense the passion in this experience, right? Noble with his excitement and the signs, and you're excited about that. There is all this passion happening here.
Okay. See, Florian didn't join us. We need to do that again with Florian. Because he didn't agree with us on the fashion and on not fashion, passion. There you go, Florian. Pick your card.
Let me pick a card as well.
Tell me when to stop. I hope you can see the picture as well.
I'm gonna make it a little larger for you.
Yeah, please make her larger.
No, keep going.
Sorry.
I think I like that one.
I knew you'd like that here. So what excites you about this one?
I like that one. It's super fun. It's fun, it's energy, it's playful.
Yeah.
And I like having fun.
Yeah, and you did bring that humorous strength into our show today. So yeah. So I can talk with people about this card for almost 20-30 minutes. They have stories, they start showing their strengths, their beliefs. Everything can show up from this card. So there is a lot you can do with it. And you can see right away when you all shared about the cards that your emotions started to show up. And I truly believe in today, that actions alone don't serve us. We get the feeling, the reason that we feel so stuck is that we try to move only from action. And when the actions are not connected with the emotions and the thoughts and the beliefs and the hopes and the fears, we don't see new actions. But we need to bring also patience to the process.
And we need to bring humor, wouldn't you say, Florian? I mean, look you're a superhero, the money hero. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm teaching the 3 superpowers of the money hero.
What are the 3 superpowers?
The 3 superpowers of the money hero are your money mindset, what you think about money, your money management, how you deal with the money that you have, and your money making skills, how you make that money work for you.
Well, I'm good. I think I have 2 out of 3 superpowers, but I got to start on the money management.
It's actually the easiest one. You just need a system.
Okay, are you going to give me a system, Florian? Are you going to help me? I'm in recovery for all these issues. I've had therapy today. I touched some emotions. I worked on my cards and my passion. Can you give me a system? Can you help me?
Absolutely, I can. Well, the simple version is, and that's like money tip number 1 for everyone, spend less than you earn and invest the difference. As soon as you do that, you'll be fine. But I can give you the easiest money management system as well in this short version, if we have a minute for that. Absolutely, great. So you split every income that you have, you split into 6 different accounts or jars or envelopes or whatever you want to use. And you have the first account is your financial freedom account. That's money you put aside and you use it to create your retirement fund, your financial freedom, whatever. You never, ever spend that money. Only as soon as it returns enough that you can retire, that's when you start spending the returns, but never, ever the money that you put in there. That's your golden goose. So, and we recommend to put 10% in there. Second account is your long-term saving for spending, which is where you save money for your next car or for your home refurbishment or a large family vacation or wherever you need larger sums for. You put another 10% of your money in there. Then you do 55%, that's your necessities account. That's where you take the money for your food and your rent and whatever else that you need, necessities, 55%. Then we have 10% for education. That's your 4th account. Education, you got to keep growing because everything that doesn't grow and dies, that's the law of nature. And of course, you want to learn how to make more money in the future. So you need that for education. 5th account, and that's the favorite for many people, is the play jar, your play account. That's the money that you can spend guilt-free on bags and shoes and whatever you want, a coffee or whatever you want to spend it on. 10%, and you've got to spend it every single month. You have to treat yourself, because if you don't do that, you'll not follow any money management system for long. So 10% of your money is to spend it, to blow it for fun every month. Now, I recommend to do it more on quality stuff than on quantity. Better to really feel rich. So treat yourself to something great instead of to a lot of simple stuff. And number 6 is the give jar. That's the remaining 5% that you use for helping other people, because Well, there's three reasons actually for that. Number one is we have a fair universe. If you give, you'll receive from some other side. Then, well, it's second reason is it's the right thing to do if you have that you give something. And number three is you convince your subconscious that obviously money is not evil because you're doing good with it. So that's why number 6 is your give jar, and we recommend 5% in that. So if you do that and you never spend the money in the jars for anything else than the label of the jar says, then you will keep money and you will have fun, and you will see how fast your money suddenly grows because you're managing what you have.
Okay, so I love the idea of the jars. I love the 6 steps. I love all of that. But what about people like myself who lack commitment? Because what I would do is I would create the 6 jars or the 6 envelopes, and I would do all of that. And then 2 weeks later, I'm taking it all out of all of the jars and going to buy me a new car. So what about people like me?
Yeah, well,
Seriously, I'm being serious. I'm being honest. I need help.
What you should do is at least the 10% of your financial freedom money, take that money away every time you get money and bring it to safety. Put it somewhere where you can't easily take it out and spend it on the new car. Invest it directly, put it somewhere where you can't spend it that easily, because that's the most important money. That's how you actually create the wealth, the financial freedom, that the money will work for you instead of you having to work for money for the rest of your life. So that's very super important. And I think that just takes, the rest just takes a little discipline that you will have to, implement and force yourself, because as soon as you see that you will have more cars or more other nice stuff in the end, if you follow it, you will start liking it. And then you'll do it automatically. So for a couple of months, you'll have to force yourself and be disciplined. And then you see how cool that works and how much difference it makes. And then you'll love it and tell everybody that they should do it as well.
I tell everybody the money hero taught me how to do this, but I'm going to go over to my soul brother over here, Noble, see if we're on the same page with all of this spending and pockets and envelopes and jars. Noble?
Hey, Sharifah, I'm with you, girl. I invented ADD and ADHD. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That is definitely what it is. I'm all over the place.
I am the OG of ADD and ADHD. So yeah, it is, again, the big thing for me is, and I keep repeating this, and I'm not trying to be, make light of it or whatever, but I'm telling you, the healthier I've gotten emotionally, I've been able to really impact. My ADD's gotten better. My focus has improved. My financial decisions have improved. Like, so many decisions in my decision making all across the board has increased tremendously as a result of getting healthier emotionally. So for me, Sharifah, is what are the stories? What are the emotions going on when I want to purchase something right now and I may or may not have the money for it? Why? What's going on emotionally? What is this doing for me? What's the psychological, emotional impact that I feel is the reason for this purchase? Is it, like you were saying earlier in the conversation, am I feeling sad about, did I lose someone, personally? Am I trying to, for a lot of people, retail therapy is a form of getting control, perceived control back in their life. They feel out of control in one area. Let me go buy something because that gives me a little bit of feeling of control, right? What's going on there emotionally that I feel like I need this Gucci bag or whatever in the moment? Just let me pause real quick. Let me pause. Okay. And here's another super dope idea is maybe before a purchase, this is something to be gangster right here, is boom, you get on your phone and you put in your notes page, okay, questions before I make any purchase. So now, before you make any purchase, okay, well, let me questions. Okay, what am I feeling emotion right now? What is this doing for me right now? Why do I feel like I need this? Is this a need or is it a want? Is it something that I can budget for and I can put on the back burner so I don't make an impulse decision, right? Anyway, a whole series of questions that you can ask yourself before you make any purchase to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, slow down emotionally. Okay, hold on. Let me not get overwhelmed or overrun by my emotions. and so I can start making better decisions. And again, as soon as you start increasing that self-awareness and you become more aware of the emotions in the moment, you can kind of start pumping the brakes a little bit of emotion and start making better decisions.
Well, this is wonderful. I get all the therapy to change my life. My life is going to be so much better now thanks to this show. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Noa.
So definitely it was a show about emotions in many ways. And I just want to add about what you just asked, that sometimes going against yourself, and that's maybe what I want to add to the takeaway today. I find that many times we go against ourselves and we try to create systems that work for other people, but they don't work for us. So find a way that works for you. So for example, when you said, I get the system, but then I'm not consistent. For example, there is external accountability versus internal accountability. Some people like my husband are really good to just say, I'm going to do that, and they do that. And some people like me, they need external accountabilities with a dog to walk, or with a friend to write a book, or with an accountability partner to work on my business. So start looking at yourself. How do you create systems to be accountable and work with yourself rather than against yourself?
Wonderful advice, because I need a money manager. That's what I said earlier. I know thyself. I need someone to manage all that stuff for me. But where can people find you, Noa?
Yeah, so as you can see, my handle on all social media is at Noa our coach, Noa, N-O-A. There is no H because it's an Israeli name for ladies. Or you can find me at noaronencoaching.com. I would invite any conversation. Just show up and have a conversation with me. I would love to keep the conversation that we were having here afterwards with whoever wants to chat with me.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate you. Florian, what do you have for the people?
Well, true. We've been talking lots of emotions and how they connect with money. So I would like to invite everyone who's listening to the show. I'm running a free 7-day Attracting Money Challenge, where we work on the Money Hero Superpower number 1, which is the money mindset, and work on those beliefs that we have around money, like you have to work hard and it's the root of all evil. And we change all that to turn you into a money magnet instead of being resisting money coming in, or when it comes in, you always got to spend it again. So we work on that during that challenge, and you can join it by going to moneyheroacademy.com, as you see in the letters, /AMC for Attracting Money Challenge. I would be very happy to help you turn yourself into a money magnet. And apart from that, join my Facebook group, the Money Hero group. If you do that, you will always know about cash flow games that we do and all other events, and get all sorts of good help and tips around money. One more sign here, the Money Hero Dream Roadmap, giving you 12 steps to create your financial freedom. So you'll get all those if you join the group.
Thank you, Florian. Mr. Noble, the OG, what do you have for the people?
Hey, I want to tell y'all, man, you guys rock like ZZ Top or New Kids on the Block, man. This has been amazing. Thank you all so much. So a few things I'm going to share with you all. Unaddressed emotional issues do not get better over time. Unaddressed emotional issues do not get better over time. They actually compound. Number 2, if you don't deal with your emotional issues, your friends, family, and coworkers will be forced to. Number 3, emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. Emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. And then the last thing is, check me out at eqgangster.com. What? Podcast, YouTube channel, social media, EQ Gangster. Thank you so much, Sharifah. You are the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas. Thank you for your time.
I love it. So when does your show air? Because I have to go set my calendar to tune in. I love your energy.
Hey, Sharifah, it's a double dose of Holy Ghost, girl. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. I have a show that comes out every Monday and every Thursday.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sharing. But the most important thing to me is that you support our guests. Our guests were here this morning to support you, to educate you, to give you this information. So please support them. Their website links is in the Facebook post. Reach out to them. Follow them on social media, send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day.